Hello everybody, it is I, Tony, aka TTBurger 88, and welcome back to another episode of TTBurger Game Reviews. Today, I want to talk a little bit about the video game franchise known as Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat needs no introduction. It's one of the most popular fighting game franchises out there, which first started out in 1992 in the arcade and spawned many sequels. The PlayStation here had quite a few Mortal Kombat games here, and I'll show you them right now. You have Mortal Kombat 3, which is a very close port to the arcade version of Mortal Kombat 3, with of course some loading times in as well. But still, it's a very good port if you want to check it out. Mortal Kombat Trilogy, which is basically, in my opinion, the best 2D Mortal Kombat game because it's got all the characters from, well, almost all the characters from the first two games crammed into one game, and it's pretty much, if you missed out on the 2D games and you couldn't play them, this is your answer right here. But then sadly I may be checking out these games sometime in the future, but then we got two spin-off games which were Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero and Mortal Kombat Special Forces. This game is mediocre. I mean, it has some good parts in it, but it's very, very hard. But this game here, Special Forces, where you play as Jax, this one here is definitely probably one of the worst Mortal Kombat games out there and stuff. And I know there's one Mortal Kombat game on the PS1 that I haven't shown yet. Well, for today's episode of TTBurger Game Reviews, I'm gonna be looking at that game. And that game is Mortal Kombat 4 on the PlayStation N64, PC, and arcade, but of course I'll look at the PlayStation 1 version, it's the only version I have. Now, even though I do know about those Mortal Kombat games that I really didn't fully get into Mortal Kombat until about when I was 14 years old, because the very first Mortal Kombat game I ever played was the Game Boy Color version of Mortal Kombat 4, and sadly, it's probably one of the worst Game Boy Color games I ever played, and it made me blind to how good the series was, because playing that with that Game Boy Color version I really just did not. I was a kid and I just thought that the whole series was like that, and I was wrong, way wrong. So my apologies there, but. I remember, but I do know that when Mortal Kombat 4 came out and stuff like that, I remember, this game was advertised like crazy. Advertisements all over TV, the Mortal Kombat 4 Road Tour, which I'm showing a clip of it right now, which isn't my clip. This was taken from the YouTube channel Mortal Kombat Secrets or Kamidoku, whatever his name is, and I messaged him asking him if I could use and start that, and he hasn't got back to me yet. But if he sees this video, credit goes to you, dude. And I love your channel and stuff. You know a lot about Mortal Kombat, and I recommend you all checking him out. I'll put a link to him in the description. And I remember you see here the Mortal Kombat 4 Road Tours. It's basically these big ass semi trucks with the Mortal Kombat 4 logo on them, where it was people that are going around with the arcade machines trying them out, and for people to try them out, and it got you prepared for a new type of Mortal Kombat. This was the first Mortal Kombat game in 3D. And what is sad though is that this game gets a lot of hate. A lot of people hate this game. I mean, from what I hear, people hate this game because the graphics suck, the fatalities aren't that good compared to the newer games like that. When I'm here to say this, of course it's not going to look as good as the arcade version. It's a port. You can't expect it. Back in the day, you couldn't expect an arcade game like this to be fully good when it was ported to a different console and stuff like that. And be glad you got the PlayStation version. The N64 version, that controller is horrible to use for fighting and stuff like that. But people like that one better for some reason, which I don't know why. I mean, but I'm just maybe it's just because I'm a fan of the PlayStation. I don't know. But I'm here to tell you guys that this game is awesome. It's probably one of the best Mortal Kombat games out there that gets overlooked because people just don't seem to give this game a chance because maybe they just don't appreciate 3D gaming, 3D fighting games, or maybe the difficulty is slowed down stuff. I don't know, but anyway, let's get that out of the way. Now, when you start the game, you're treated to this cutscene here, which is a CG render cutscene, not unlike the arcade version of that. Which people did not like how the PlayStation did this, but I thought it was a good job and stuff that they did this because they were taking advantage of the PlayStation's hardware and stuff. But anyway, the story here of Mortal Kombat 4 takes place after Mortal Kombat 3, obviously. And Raiden talks about how thousands of years ago, in a battle with a fallen elder god known as Shinnok, he said he was responsible for the death of an entire civilization. And to rid all realms of Shinnok's menace, he waged a war that plunged the earth in centuries of darkness and banished Shinnok to the nether realm. And now, after Shao Kahn was defeated by Hands of Earth's warriors, Shinnok managed to escape his complex from the nether realm, and the war is now being fought once again, but only this time it can be won by mortals. And that's pretty much the story. And I like how the story goes in more depth than like the other games, and it kind of like gives you a feel of what's to come. It basically kind of also kind of like an introduction to what you didn't know about the characters start that and such. So I think the story works really well. And it's not as deep as was like with Mortal Kombat Deception storyline or like on Mortal Kombat 9 or Mortal Kombat X and stuff like that, but still, that's just my opinion. For this time, it was a fantastic story. But now let's talk more about the game here. The game's presentation here is also fantastic. Like, now I know that people are complaining about how the graphics don't look that great on the PlayStation version and the N64 and stuff like that. When people gotta realize something. This is a port. It's not going to be as identical. It's not going to be identical to the arcade version. If you want to play the arcade, version, better go to an arcade or go play it on MAME or something like that. But for me, the PlayStation version, the graphics here look excellent for its time. I mean, this game was released in 1998, and this is probably one of the best looking Mortal Kombat games out there at the time. I mean, you have the backgrounds look really nice. The character models may look a little blocky by today's standards, but at this time though, the character models look excellent. And also the cutscenes in the PlayStation version are also nicely rendered and stuff like that compared to like the N64 in the arcade version use the in-game graphics like that, and the cutscenes and the endings and those and stuff like that look awful. But here, in this one here, the cutscenes look nice. They take advantage of the PlayStation's hardware and stuff. For sound, I gotta say that like the music is awesome. And the voice acting can be a little bit hammy, especially like there are certain characters in the endings that have hammy voice acting, but I gotta say that Raiden has the best voice acting and stuff, and I'm not gonna show the cutscenes here because if you want to see the cutscenes or the endings, go watch on a YouTube channel and stuff like that. But that's just me. But the music is awesome, and it definitely feels like Mortal Kombat music. I mean, like all the music in all the Mortal Kombat games was awesome. This one here definitely has one of the best soundtracks. That's just me though. Sorry, forgive me there. I have some allergies going around. It's allergy season, so yeah, I apologize there. But getting into the gameplay here, when you notice in the gameplay here, you have 15 characters to choose from, including 3 unlockable characters. And if you have classic characters like Raiden, Sonya, Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Liu Kang, and stuff, and you also Jax as well. And you also have new characters here like Fujin, who's the god of wind. And you have Jarek, who's a part of the Black Dragon clan, like how Kano was and stuff. And you also have Tanya, who's this who's kind of like Liu Kang. She's kind of like a female version of Liu Kang. And you have Kai, who's also kind of like Liu Kang, who's interested in becoming a Shaolin warrior, and so on and so on. And these new characters fit the game really well. I mean, like, my favorite new character has to be Fujin, because he's kind of like he's the god of wind. Instead of Raiden being the god of thunder, he's Fujin, the god of wind. And he and Raiden are kind of similar to one another, except for one's wind and one's thunder. And I feel like that's really cool. And one of the main, and also I have to mention Shinnok, of course, I forgot to mention Shinnok and stuff. And this is where one of the things people complained about. People complained that Shinnok was already a playable character from the get-go. There were no unlockables or anything like that, and that pissed people off because compared to the other Mortal Kombat games, people had to unlock characters and stuff, and there were barely any unlockable bosses and stuff. But who cares? Who cares if he's already settable from the start? Get over it and play the game. It shouldn't affect the game at all, and yet you guys are complaining about stupid stuff when this shouldn't even be worth complaining, be necessary to complain about, because you still get to play the boss, you still get to play the game, you're still playing the arcade version. Get over it and play the game. I mean, this is the thing. People are nitpicking this game for some of the dumbest reasons ever, and it's sickening because this is a fun game, but people just don't seem to see that. And it's sad because like only true hardcore Mortal Kombat fans are appreciating what this game has to offer. This game also has Goro, Noob Saibot, and a character called Meat, and I do not know how to unlock these characters. So you'll have you won't be seeing any footage of them. But of course, like getting into the game, I'll get back to get into the gameplay part here. It's what you expect from a Mortal Kombat game. It's fast paced. It's fluid. It's fun. I mean, it's like playing the arcade version in your own home, except the fact that you have let's say for the graphics are a little worse because it's not because the PlayStation had its limits and stuff. You're not gonna expect that. Like I said many times, and I know I'm repeating a lot, but just that it just sickens me to death that the people are just flat outright bashing this game because they don't appreciate ports and stuff. They want things perfect and done right. But getting into the gameplay, well, I'll admit right now, I do have faults with this. I do have my own complaints there, which I'll get to in a little bit. But I'll admit right now, the controls are, like I said, the controls are really smooth and they're fluid and stuff. But I do have a couple complaints I'll get to right now, and that is the weapons you have in the game. I feel like that the weapons that each character has is pretty much unnecessary, because my main complaint about the weapons is that if you get hit, they fall out of your hand, and I really don't like that, because like when you try to pick up the weapon, you'll pretty much lose concentration and end up dying and stuff. And the opponent AI is actually a lot more balanced attack. Like I know, like in the previous Mortal Kombat games, the opponent AI would pretty much kill you without blinking an eye. And I'm glad they toned the difficulty down, because some people can actually handle challenge and stuff. And I do like challenge, but when it's over the top challenge like that, where you can't even move a muscle stuff, and the AI can actually beat you without getting a hit on them, yeah, that's where you say that they went a little too far there. But I'm not bashing the 2D games, obviously. It's just that difficulty for them was a little bit too high at times. But I'm glad that the difficulty here is actually more balanced and more fluid, and it works perfectly. And another thing that people complain about are the fatalities, because the fatality, these don't look realistic and stuff like that. People. This was 1998. You weren't gonna get like how it was in Deadly Alliance stuff like that, where it has a neck bone stuff that where you pull out the spine, where you pull out the skeleton, see bones and flesh and clavicle and stuff like that coming out. This, for the time, this was awesome. I mean, like, it took on a whole new dimension. I mean, it was the first Mortal Kombat game in 3D, so of course they were still experimenting and stuff. And people who bitch about like how it's not gonna be very close to the arcade version get Mortal Kombat Gold on the Sega Dreamcast. But then again, I don't own a Dreamcast, and I don't own a Sega console, so Mortal Kombat 4 it'll be. And it just baffles my mind still, because this game here is in my opinion one of the best 3D Mortal Kombat games, and it gets overshadowed and overlooked because people are just biased and just unfair and stuff. I mean, I had fun with this. I pretty much played this is probably one of the Mortal Kombat games I played the most and stuff. I mean, excluding, of course, I also was Deadly Alliance and Trilogy and Deception stuff, that not including Armageddon, because Armageddon sucked, and I will probably review those games in the future, but I just wanted to talk about this one. And Ed Boon, John Tobias, and the team of Midway did a great job. They did a fantastic job with this game. And yet, those of you who complain, be glad we got a Mortal Kombat 4 game at all, because would you rather play the Game Boy Color version? I'll talk a little bit about that. The Game Boy Color version is horrendous. Basically, the opponent AI doesn't even do anything to attack you at all. A lot of the key characters in this game are missing, and it's basically horrendous, like all the other Mortal Kombat games on the Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance and stuff like that. So be glad you're not playing that. It could be worse where that was the main version and stuff like that. So be glad about that, people. I mean, jeez. And I will admit right now, I'm not the best at Mortal Kombat games. So I had to play this game on the easiest setting and stuff, because I'm bad. I mean, this isn't like Tekken like that. I mean, I'm great at Tekken and Soul Calibur and stuff and Bloody Roar, but Mortal Kombat 4 I still need practice on. So if you see me doing bad here in the footage, that's my fault, because I'm not the best at it. But I forgot to mention there's also some other modes too, like you got your typical versus mode, you got your tournament mode where you can battle up to 8 people, win tournaments like that. It's a nice way to take a break from the arcade mode and stuff like that. And just that's the thing that people don't seem to realize. exclusive modes that you can have fun stuff and create your own fun. Oh, and you can watch two CPUs battle out each other as well. I mean, this is one of those games where you create your own fun. And you know what? I was having fun. I created my own fun. Sure, I mean, like it's not as deep as like newer Mortal Kombat games, but still, for its time, it's a fantastic game. And I know I'm repeating myself a lot, and I do apologize for that, people, but I'm just saying, I had a lot of fun with it. And for my final verdict goes like this. Mortal Kombat Bit 4 is definitely a must-buy Mortal Kombat game for PlayStation owners, N64 owners and stuff, and PC owners, and for those who like arcade game stuff. I have not played the N64 version, but I know that the N64 version and the PC version are very similar to one another, so the fact that the N64 version doesn't have like the CG cutscenes like that because of its hardware capability and stuff, but still, Mortal Kombat 4 is definitely one of my all-time favorite Mortal Kombat games, let alone fighting games and stuff. And I love it. And you know what, I wish but aside from like a couple of complaints here about like, how, I've had to mention how Goro can be kind of cheap as well and stuff like that, but then again, that's a challenge. Besides that though, there really isn't much else to say about this game. So what will I be giving this game? Well, even though the weapons are kind of useless like that, I can still look past it. I'll be giving this game a perfect 10 out of 10. And yeah, some people say, oh, you're rating it too high and stuff, but I don't care. I like the game. I enjoy it, and I'm sure other true Mortal Kombat fans would probably agree with me as well. That's pretty much all I gotta say about this game. This is Tony, aka TTBurger 88. Peace out, and have a great day, and Mortal Kombat!